high highs, very low lows. I was drinking way more than I should have. I was smoking.
I was sitting sometimes in the car and looking who is going into your apartment and outside of your apartment, you know.
I was letting people live, like decide my life.
And I remember you telling me, okay, I am gonna drop my university, and it was so panic.
I'm not regretting it at all. I don't know if it's coincidence or there is maybe some common thread in this rock bottom stories that my story also has something to do with the inability of decision making or the inability of taking or not. It's not about decision making. I think it's more about the inability to take responsibility or being afraid of the responsibility that will follow your decision.
Yeah, the consequences. Yes.
Yeah.
So what was your decision?
My story is not that dramatic. I didn't end up in the hospital, and I never was 42 kilograms. I am on the opposite side. I gain weight when I'm.
Me too. You know, this is the scary story. I gain weight when I'm stressed out, and this was completely completely something different. And this was really a sign that it's not only a sad period of time, but me too. I'm gaining weight too when I'm stressed out. But at that story was completely different.
Yeah. I think my story, again, I'll not go too much into details because it's too long and I'm not sure if you're interested in that anyways. But for me, it was the story of having very high expectations and then, not being prepared for, the reality. Because when I moved to Austria, I had extreme expectations from this experience. Because in Moldova, some people, when they move out or from a different country, they don't feel well, so they move to, I don't know, to feel better somewhere else. I had my life was more or less perfect in Moldova. I was very happy. I had a lot of friends. Everything was great. And then moving to Austria was like, leveling up. So I kind of, again, maybe because of lack of experience, but I had the idea that my life would be as before, but better. So I had very high expectations from everything, and I had a lot of dreams, a lot of goals. And then obviously after some time, this excitement fades out. And for me, it was kind of extreme because, again, high expectations, high highs, very low lows. And it was a chain of events that went to this rock bottom. Again, my rock bottom is maybe not that deep as yours. But for now, hope this will be the limit. But I think I ended up in a situation in which I don't know, I didn't have control over my life at all or over me at all. It was just, waking up and then, like a Sims character, like someone was moving me to work and then someone was moving me there. And then and this all happened because, again, I'm not a stupid person, I assume. And I knew everything that was going wrong, but I didn't have the guts to make the right decisions to, change the situation. So I was like, going with the flow in the wrong sense of the expression and just letting things happen to me, and I took zero responsibility for anything. And I think in these, and at least for me in these moments, because I knew my head was working all this time, and I knew that some things have to change. I started to, actively silence my brain, like make myself not think. And every single time when I would think, be at home and think, maybe I should end this relationship, I would just, I don't know, go out, call a friend and go out and have a drink. And it was not a very bad period, but in that in that circumstances, I was drinking way more than I should have. I was smoking like cigarettes, but for me it was something new, and it was just um, all these materials, all these things, just not to um, think of decisions and then think of responsibilities of these decisions. So I was trying. Um, I knew that there should be a future, but I was trying not to think of it because I don't know. It was just so much at the same time. A very weird relationship that was not stable at all. It was anything but stable, that relationship. If it was a relationship, that the fact that I cannot say if it was a relationship or not shows the whole idea of that. And then with my job, it was every single day something, I don't know, yes, no. And then I started studying at the university, and then it was a lot of uh, I didn't really like it, and I am from school. I was never the best. I never wanted to be the number one, but I was always in the top. And then university, out of a sudden, I was the top 10 from the last, and it was just a lot. And then coupled with the fact that I am used to develop myself, and I could really feel that in that period of time I started to degrade, like
Decrease your, yes.
yeah, I was getting more stupid.
But wait, do you think maybe when you came to Austria, that now that your expectations came true, but that you was expecting things to happen quicker than they naturally happen? Because I remember you were like, I don't have friends, I don't have that and that. And, like you were in Austria for 4 or 6 months and you were suffering because you told me I have in Moldova my friends. And why I ask this? Because I did the same experience. I went through the same experience when I came to Austria. No, but the only difference was that I had no one here. I was alone. And when I came, it was the same story for me. I came to Austria at home. I have a lot of friends. I had a lot of friends, and we have a very active social life through our school experience, dancing experience, language courses experience. And all of a sudden, we came to Austria. They dropped us off at 12 in the night, so I slept outside the first night. So it was for me, it was a disturbing experience, of course. So, but this was not that rock bottom. At that time, I didn't think about this. I thought, okay, this is the situation tomorrow. The situation tomorrow is going to be better. So, it was my ideal of things. But maybe, do you think maybe you was expecting things to happen quicker?
No, I don't think it was about quicker. Maybe to some extent, but not 100%. To some extent, probably. But again, I don't think that was the problem. The problem was that I expected something, again, maybe not as quickly happened, maybe just didn't happen as I thought. And then entering a group of people, or entering
but did you enter, this is my evergreen question. Did you enter, it was like we have in Russian again a toy, it's called lizun. I don't know, lizun, and for me, I told you always, for me, at that time you was like somebody smashed you on the wall, and this lizun like like a smash. And I tried it, and this listen, how it doesn't matter how strong you try to put it together, it's like slipping out of your fingers, and you try to put it together and it slips out. You was for me at that time like this. And maybe my question was, did you think you entered this group of people because you didn't want to come to me because we were living like 5 minutes from each other?
Well, we had a very difficult relationship back then.
For me, it was not difficult. It was for you.
We have a whole episode about it. For me, it was. And for me, of course, when I'll tell you this, you will say, yes, for you it was different. We have with different perceptions of things. I felt alone. I mean, I was not alone as you were, because you're alone physically, and you had no one in here. But I felt alone, like, because.
But did you expect more? I
don't know what I expected. I cannot tell you. Like, there is absolutely.
No, from me, did you expect more? I don't know. How to say, more time, or did you expect more? That I.
I don't know. I cannot really give you an answer right now what I expected. I think it was.
Yes, but right now in a retrospective, you can say, okay, I wanted you to. I would love you to make this and this and this instead of this and this and this.
I wish I could. And in one of our episodes, I think about our sister relationship, we said that I have a great memory on events, amazing memory. That period of time, I barely remember. And it's, again, that's a sign that either my brain just said, like, okay, forget that, or I remember things, of course, but not as vividly as things from my childhood, for example. That's why I cannot tell you in retrospective what. But
you were sitting at home and you were thinking, okay, I wish Angelica would write this with me. I don't know. You don't have.
I didn't sit at home and think. That's the point. I didn't sit at home and think, because I was trying,
the difference between us two, and we know this, is that I tell things I want. So I want you to make this. I would love you to make this. I articulate my thoughts, and you are more of the silent person, so you never say what you really want. Maybe you started doing this right now more than earlier, but you never say, I don't know, I want.
Because that's, again, a decision. You take the decision that you want something, and then if you want something, then you have.
But it's not bad to wanting something.
I don't say it's bad. I say it's a decision. You take a decision, you want something, and then you have to live with consequences. And if you cannot take decisions, you are unable to take decisions. You cannot even decide what you want.
But why do you think you were unable to take decisions? Is this character? Is this life experience? Is this?
I didn't want to take responsibility for the consequences. That's as easy as that. I was just, as I said, just moving with the flow in a very passive way. Like, I let life happen to me. I was letting other people decide how my day will be. I was letting a guy decide if I am today in a good mood or in a bad mood. I was letting a girl decide if today we are friends or we're not friends. So I was just, I was letting people live, like, decide my life. It was a Sims character, nothing. And then I think my aha moment was one evening. I remember that, because it's funny, because from that evening, I remember things more vividly. I remember that I was in the bathroom, and I was texting with this guy, and out of a sudden, I really felt like, sometimes when we talk about life, we picture a road that you go, like, this is your life, this is a road. And I had this strong feeling that there is, it's the road of my life, and I am not on the road, but I am next to it. So my actual life is moving, and I'm just outside of it. And I was moving, parallel to the road. And that was a very weird, strange feeling that I was like, okay, I have to take matters in my hands. I cannot just, let people, again, decide for me every day if I'm loved or if I'm not loved, if we are friends or not friends, if I have a job or I don't have a job. I want to take matters in my hands and take the decision. And if it's a bad decision, okay, I will learn, and then I will, whatever. Then now it was a learning experience. And then I left my university. I dropped out in that period of time. And then when I had this feeling like, okay, now I want to change things, I applied for a different university.
I remember this talk. I remember our talk about this in my car. I remember it where we were staying in the car. And I remember you telling me, okay, I am going to drop my university. And I was so panicked because, it was kind of responsibility for me in front of our parents because back then they lived in Moldova. And I thought, oh my God. And it was, I know the story is about you. It's not about me. But my feelings at that point was, okay, I disappointed my parents for sure because I couldn't make my sister stay on her life road, and she went out of it. And we had at that time, I remember we had a lot of discussions, but I remember two of them, one in a coffee shop and one in my car. And I remember at that moment, my first reaction was to tell you, oh, no, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, you cannot, no. And then I felt for the first time that I'm a grown up because I thought, okay, listen, I was doing the same shit years, in that strange place where I studied at that time. And nobody helped me out of that. I wanted, and when I was going through this, I thought, okay, about the university where you finally studied. I thought about that university, but at that point, I had no citizenship of European Union, and it was very expensive. And when you told me you're going to leave university, because I understood you so well at that moment, really, I felt in you. Because I was going through the same shit some years ago, and I thought, listen, this girl, she's really, I understand her so good, and I was at the same point, and I remember me telling you, listen, maybe you can change to this university because you can you can do your studies in English, and maybe it can be better for you. You can take this gap and go for work. And then because at the university where you studied, the application was twice a year, and it was like a very strict application period. And for me, it was, okay, this is a plan. We have a plan, everything is going to Nirvana right now, but we have a plan how we are going to come up, Like for me, it was, we have a plan for the future. Right now we are drifting off, but we have a plan. So I don't know how it felt for you, the same story.
I don't know. Again, I remember the day, I remember the car, I remember that we went to the flower shop afterwards. It's big. We bought some flower pots.
I don't remember.
See, I remember these things. But I don't know. I think, that's why I said when you told me about your story, it's a very tricky situation because I don't know if I wanted you to help me. Like, I think in these situations, at least for me, in these situations, even if it's not a hard rock bottom, it's just a small problem, I like dealing with this myself. Like, I want, and I brought myself into this situation. I want to know that I can pull out myself out of this situation. So it's a very difficult slope, where to help, where not to help, how to say.
Oh, believe me, I know this.
Sorry?
Believe me, I know this because it was new for me. Like experience the sister. You were 16 when I hit it my rock bottom, and I was grown up and I was older than you, and I felt, like I felt the pain myself. I literally felt it. I was sitting sometimes in the car and looking who is going into your apartment and outside of your apartment. It was very and I didn't know, as you say, I didn't know when and whether it was the appropriate moment to say something. And you were a tricky person yourself. Sometimes, I have to think, is this the right moment? Are these the right words? And well, right now, not as earlier, but you were a complicated person, you have to admit. Yeah, sometimes it was, okay, I was too. I don't know.
I don't think I will admit, because we talked about this in our episode about our sister relationship. We were just not customized to talk to each other.
Yes,
That's all.
yes, yes.
It was not me being complicated, or you being complicated, me being bad, or you being good or
But
bad.
just please try to understand.
I understand. Sure.
I was older, and I was I was witnessing the moment that when you were drifting downhill. And as a sister, when you were 16, I bet you had feelings at that, because you've seen me and you understood for sure. You understood that something is going wrong with me, and I don't know your feelings at that moment, but my feelings at that moment, seeing my sister drifting off downhill, it was bad.
Yeah, and the first reaction is the first impulse is to help the person, like go up or like catch the person. But again, the question is if you should catch the person, or if it's the right decision. Maybe you just have to
And
let
how
the
much?
person.
And how much?
Maybe like
The
for
level
me,
of catching up. Yes.
because for me, through having this experience, of course, like every time when you have bad experiences, I'm not regretting it at all. Because for me, I learned about my limits. I learned how bad I can go morally, and I know that I can survive it. So, ever since then, I
I
don't
will
have
survive.
so many fears. Like why we are fearing something. Usually, people fear the unknown. So when you know already, for example, when you were in a period of time when you had no money, or your budget was very little, you know how it is. So next time when you have a lot of money, you don't fear that this period of not having so much money, because you know how it is, and you know more or less how you can get out of it. And for me, it's similar with this experience.
Yes, you have to make your own experience. I remember I at some point I was talking to our mother, and we were talking about you, and I don't know who of us told, oh, maybe we have to tell her this and this, and tell her. I think our mother told me, I have to tell you this and this and this, and I told her, listen, she has to make her own experience.
Sure.
I will let her. I'm not her mom. I'm her sister. So through some things you have to go by yourself, and it's good so as it is. And maybe you have siblings. I don't know. It's impossible to tell you what is the right thing to do and what is the right level to catch up or to drop or to ignore. Or I think you have to feel it.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love in future. I hope I will not have any rock bottom anymore. But I would love you to so that I would love you to involve and to help me out. You did actually. I had another rock. I had another one, but my postnatal depression, which I realized I had years after I gave birth, but I told I'm not ready to talk about this, and I started speaking out loud that I have had this, but I'm not ready to talk about this. But you helped me out, unconscious.
Yeah.
It's yes.
No, I think this experiences, of course, they are shit in the moment, but you learn so much out of it. And I didn't have a postnatal depression. I had post-graduation depression. I heard about it before. I thought it was stupid, and who has it? I had maybe on one of the 1,000 that have it. Different episode, I guess, topic for a different episode. But I started to feel that I'm going downhill again, and because I knew how it felt like, I knew, okay, it's a match.
This is the pattern.
That's the pattern, yeah. So okay, I take the decisions way earlier, so
Yes,
that it's
yes.
not that, and that's great. I think because in the future we will have different situations in our lives, and having this experience is pretty early in our life. Like yours were at 23, mine was at 21, 20, not 19, 20. Through having this experience is pretty early, you learn so much for your future life, and okay, you
Yes.
can recognize when it's going downhill and when it's not.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the common thread is that you end up oftentimes in these situations when I don't tell you have to be a control freak, but when you just don't take control over your life and your decisions, and you just let other people that they will decide for you, they will fire you, they will break up with you, they will tell you that they don't want to talk to you anymore. So this happens when you just let go of this. And we are happy and we are lucky. We are very lucky people that we could get out of it by ourselves. If you feel like you cannot manage it, absolutely, definitely go for a specialist, go for a therapist or a psychologist or someone that can ask the right questions for you to, get out of it. But I think overall, the cure is to learn to take decisions, learn to take responsibility over your life, because it's your life and you decide what happens, and you are responsible for all good or bad decisions, and that's good. I mean, it's beautiful. Even if you take bad decisions, you learn out of them, and you move on to a next level.
About you've mentioned right now the specialist. About specialists, I'm sure, please agree with me. There are situations when you have something inside of you and you go randomly early. I remember earlier, you go, for example, for train ride and you meet absolutely, I don't know, or you're sitting in a park and you come into talking with an absolutely stranger, like because of a flower, because of a dog, because of something, a tree. And then you start talking and you tell this person things you've never told, like somebody of your friends or your family. And it feels so revealing after that. So just take a chance, make you don't have to tell a lot of details or something, but if you're afraid to go to a therapist, to a specialist, just you have to let this out. You have to communicate about these things. Yes,
everything in your head, and sometimes speaking out.
80% of our problems are in our head.
Yeah.
80.
And when you speak it out, sometimes while you're speaking, you're thinking your words. Sometimes while you're speaking and you hear your problems, you start to think of solutions, or you realize how unimportant they are, or important they are.
So make decisions. Don't be afraid of the consequences of these decisions, because everything is going to be better after taking decisions than waiting for and going with the flow and drifting. It's not the way out. So but making decisions, when you start making decisions, my husband told me this once, and this is 100% true. 100% true. A person make a decision, not, of course there are exceptions, but you make a decision only in the moment when it hurts so much, it's so painful that you can handle it anymore. So you wait until this moment and then you make a decision anyway. So each of us is going to make a decision, but the question is, are you going to make it at the beginning, or are you going to make all the hell through and make the decision when it's so much pain that you cannot handle it anymore? So the perfect situation is to make a decision as early as possible.
Yeah.
So wishing you all the luck. You're not alone.
And make the decision to subscribe to our channel. Make the decision to follow us on your favorite podcasting platforms. And make the decision to like this episode if you liked it.
It is a pretty long episode, but I think this is a very... you almost cried. I've seen it twice or 3 times. Yes.
You're a rock.
I'm a rock.
Have a great day, and don't hit rock bottoms.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.